competing. Full stop. VCT will be over for them for the year, Tom. And that is a disturbing thought, considering this G2 roster is so promising and features so many players from tier 1 organizations having been poached up. We're starting out the pistol, and Vodafone Giants are on the attack, and they are certainly looking to up the pace, going straight into the A site.
Ooh, nice start from Mixer, good flash, but it's only going to be the trade, and already things getting a little bit dicey, a back and forth battle with both teams finding a couple of kills, but ultimately this allows for the afterplant to come through for Giants.
The 3 versus 3 post plans here. Giants tucked in, trying to avoid all this utility. The flash doesn't buy them much space. Never mind. They follow up over towards the spawn, and Coldamenta has it all to do. 1-0 as Vodafone Giants pick up that first round. And wow, I mean, after watching the last bind we saw was Gambit, it feels so strange to see someone just rush a site like that.
Yeah, when you when you have like a million incredibly slow rounds, it's definitely not expected for a team to just blast it straight through. But I almost like it. Just go for something a little bit more simplistic. Hoodie looking a little bit different. I do think that we're having a few issues with the cams, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'm pretty sure those are very backwards at the moment, so I'm sure that'll be something that is fixed within the moment.
David P is looking great. I like his glasses.
Nice glasses.
Maybe that was always the problem. He wasn't playing with them. Needs to fix that up.
What?
Oh my god, this is classics. They've ran through a smoke versus classics, and I mean, they got what they deserved.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Let's see if they can actually recover it, because none of the weapons have actually been retrieved. So it is still mostly just classics. Going back around to long is going to be a little bit more difficult, although we do still see this rifle in the hands of Hoodie. He could just turn this round on his head, and in fact, that's exactly what he will do. Just shutting them out. That is so important. Yeah, it's pistols. Yeah, it's a triple kill versus them, but considering that was a 4 versus 2, that is huge for the squad.
Yeah, they were looking down and out. It is not the ideal scenario. When they started the round, you would have wanted them to lose no more than 1 player. But considering where they ended up, we'll celebrate the win. With Hoodie completely destroying them on this. Again, if they had rifles, he was dead. I mean, he was dead there if they had a rifle, but thankfully this time around they didn't. And a lesson learned, one would hope, for Vodafone Giants is they don't really have the option to play a bonus. Okay, I guess they do. They're going to play with 2 rifles, a Vandal and a Phantom. And then they've got pistols and a Spectre to back them up. This is a very mixed buy. We'll see what opportunities they can create with those bigger rifles.
Yeah, now we get to see if it will mix well. Haha! It's going to be Meadow already finding the opener. If I just keep casting, you can't be frustrated. Just keep talking and talking all the way through.
You could talk for this whole map and I would still be pissed off at what you just said, Tom. That has annoyed me.
I'm glad. That was the goal. Shock dart, not actually going to really achieve anything here. So again, it's going to be an afterplant scenario. A man down and a good spray coming out from Avova. A couple of kills back, turning this into a 2v2. But considering this is somewhat of a bonus round, to have it on an even front really isn't bad.
That plant isn't great either. These guys are going to have to just wide swing out.
Okay.
There we go. Orbital strike's going to be activated. Okay. They're comfortable buying themselves a little bit of extra time. Now, the swing comes in. Nice and easy. Nukia in a 1 versus 2. He has to be so quick on this. The spin is there. He's gotten it done. Has he got enough time, though? It is ticking quite quickly, but I think he's just about got it. Oh, that is ridiculous. They had a crossfire, Tom.
Yeah. He just 180 straight back around, knew exactly where the other player would be. Unbelievable stuff from Nuki. He has been long considered one of the best players in Europe, and these are the exact reasons why he had no right whatsoever in winning that round. I am quite surprised though that if you've got a player in David P looking the other way, I know they could have lined up. You have the turret as well. I feel like just having your back there is so risky, so reliant on that kill. But as I said, like, it's just ludicrous stuff coming out from the likes of Nuki. Yeah, you know, a little bit of a tickle.
Nice little shocky shock from Cordamenta. I like it. Beautiful stuff.
Scanning ahead.
Hypoc really ruined my day yesterday, Tom. You know that? I was making a good joke about how there's no PUBG players really in VALORANT, like at the top level. And I obviously know Cordamenta from my time in Battalion, where he was competing, but he actually played PUBG as well.
Ah. Oh, and he's one of the serial players of your favorite gun.
But that's why I forgive him. I forgive him for that.
the Odin can forgive any of your previous sins. Well,
they managed to do a pretty good job considering the opening duel was taken with a Spectre and they're already out. I mean, Vodafone Giants are kind of struggling to get anything here. Showstopper out, not much damage done, but they're spraying away to save the day. And we're tied up at 2-2.
Yeah, nice round. That was actually a much worse purchase for G2 as well, because they had to reinvest into so many of the weapons after the clutch that Giants still had enough cash to actually buy. So the fact that they win that with 4 players alive is impressive. And well, it's been a bit of a slow start to some of the players that you're usually almost waiting and watching for when it comes to this Giants roster. Like Fatinho on this map has been a force to be reckoned with. I do remember a lot of what he was able to do being on the defensive side, but even still, he's basically the hard entry for this team a lot of the time. So if he's having a poor map, well, we could be heading to 3.
The next map would be where David P would shine, right? On those little flank plays. I saw Vodafone Giants put out a tweet in between the previous map and this, and they were saying it was like a Simpsons thing where they're looking back in the car and it's G2 looking back and David P's just stood there. Nice shot by Dave. Oh, he's getting challenged. He's still alive. Lighting Nukia down to very low HP, just 40 remaining, but it looks like they're cleaning up the rest of these kills for now at least.
Yeah, the problem is the Sheriff versus 2 of the players now is as deadly as any other weapon you will find. It really is just Cordamenta and Nuki on their last legs, and they're reliant on Avova, but that Hunter's Fury is actually perfect. It's done so much damage, and I think because of it, they don't even realize that there's an extra player here. A costly round for G2, but a victory nonetheless. And while Avova's having a great time.
Yeah, understandable. With 3 on the board now, G2 are feeling pretty good. Take a look at this little replay coming up. Yeah, as we were talking about, right? You gotta watch your back for David P. It's his former teammate of Mixwell that he finds with it. I love that he manages to avoid all these shots from Nukia as well, dealing quite a bit of damage. But it wasn't enough. And I think, like, for G2, realistically, a gap like that, it shouldn't exist. Not in a round where you're up against pistols. To let him walk all the way into lamps and blindside you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite afraid if David P feels that comfortable that early on.
Gone for a few wallbangs, expecting this aggressive position to be in play. Of course, a new role being picked up for Kellogg's, one that we'll see if it's something that works out. I will say that a lot of very competent duelists manage to make Sage work. Like, it's like, well, almost one of the agents they've been playing for years. So I'm not too worried for him just yet. Might mean that he has to be slightly more passive, and on the attacking sides, maybe a little bit more reliant on Nuki to be that hard entry, which is something he hasn't had to do too much within this roster. Like, a lot of the time he is the second, third player in to almost clean up and clutch the round, so we'll see how that dynamic works. But now, though, David P dead, and the rest of the team looking to pressure Hookah.
Oh, Kellogg's has even lit up the second player coming out, so it's so much easier to take down Fatino. Vodafone Giants left with no hope, really. It's a spike down inside of Hookah and a 2v5. So saving, definitely the correct call. G2 set to take a 4th round on the board. I mean, they use Cosmic Divide. It's not that big of a deal. But what I'm looking at here is Vodafone Giants and how close they are to having every single ultimate online. And with the composition that they're running, and we had this conversation last time we covered Vodafone Giants, their ultis are incredibly valuable.
Yeah, I think you'd be hard stuck to find a combination of ultimates that are more valuable than the ones they currently have. Maybe you could throw a Blade Storm in there every once in a while, but other than that, especially on a map like this, I can't think of a composition that would benefit in that regard, at least. Then again, you could say similar for the other side, excluding maybe that Cosmic Divide, because it's definitely not as impactful as the rest within the server. So we'll see. There's also a res online for Kellogg's as well. That's always the other added benefit of when you're running that Sage on your duelist, is chances are they're going to get quite a lot of kills. That means you get more ability to actually come in with reses and retakes. So especially on the defense, it's going to be quite valuable for them. But I think Giants realizing, okay, let's not let this one get out of control. I think G2 are one of the best teams right now at just absolutely steamrolling people when they get in the lead, especially with the caliber of players they have. So Giants want to stop this as early as possible because this is their map choice. If they win it, they're on their way to Berlin.
One point as well about Kellogg's, just as you said, the Sage on your duelist on a Sage, it's that I don't feel like a lot of the time in the previous map, I don't feel like Jet really benefited him that much. As in, like, I think he's bringing a lot more value on the Sage and not really losing that much individually. Like, sure, a little bit of mobility, but how often did that mobility actually come into the equation when it came down to Icebox?
Back in we go. Looks like G2 are going for a hell of a lot of early information. Deep stars placed with the nebula, or a smoke as most people would call it. And already going through the teleporter and taking over bathrooms control. In other words, Giants have no map control, so they're going to have to earn it back. One of the ways they're going to do that is forcing Mixwell out of the corner. Now, they have the gravity well to try and at least slow them down a little bit, but other than that, there's not a lot defending this site.
So you said nebula and people normally call it a smoke. What do people call the gravity well?
I can't say that. Only Hypox allowed to say that.
That's more of a command when he says it, more than an ability.
All right.
4-2.
Open up the sky.
What? He calls it the back off ability, right? It's just back off. Stay back.
Of course.
Yeah, that's it. Anyways, Vodafone Giants already lost Fatino through the smoke. Now pushing into the site, though. They've dropped down their lockdown, and this should be a nice, easy plan for them. Problem is, there's an early flank from Nukia. He is right up behind this teleporter. Going to take the majority of their focus when it comes to players coming up behind them. And he has a chance, an opportunity. The alarm bot reveals him, but he still gets away with one. Sadly uses the blast pack right after, but it might not matter. The rest of the team flooding in to help and overrun these final remaining attackers. That shock dart, painful to watch as it lands clean on Meadow. David P smoked out, and as they spray, now they know both players are on long. Look at this, it's a firing squad. The Nebula about to go down, and this is where David P is going to be in trouble. It's already halfway diffused. How is he still alive? He's shot up by so many players. He's gotten out of there as well. What?
I don't really understand how he managed to basically just duck and weave, but I guess that is the most David P thing ever. It's just like surviving in positions that he never ever should. But they don't manage to win the round. I think just the movement of where the position was actually being diffused from basically made it impossible, even with the pings currently being down on the map. But yeah, considering I sort of mentioned it, they have a lot of powerful ultimates, and they used 2 of them in this round to just get site control. That's how difficult it's been for Giants so far. They not only used an orbital strike, they also used a lockdown just to get the plant.
Yeah. And lose immediately after. You know, I noticed that G2 always like to keep an eye during the games. They popped out a tweet leading on a map for once, and then a thumbs up. So congratulations to the G2 Esports team for probably cursing their team once more. It's almost as bad as Jonas. And look at this. As we're talking about it, G2 are under a lot of pressure. The nade and Molly taking Coldamenta down. And he did find 2 before he fell, putting this into a winnable position for G2. But it's getting a little bit more difficult now that the info is being given away.
Yeah, the Seekers has given absolutely everything, and they're probably one of the most valuable positions because both were on the flank. It means that they can actually play into the defender's spawn. And Nuki trying to fake them out with the sounds, but it hasn't worked at all. And as they try and bait with the rares, Kellogg's has to get a kill instead. He's left completely blind. He just sacrifices Mixer and gets nothing in return. Solid round from Giants. as they will get themselves a third.
And at this very moment, I can already sense the sweat starting to form on the brow of the social media manager from G2. What a good play by Coldamenta, though. He knew he was dead standing inside the nade, but it was well worthwhile to find that double kill. Even despite that, G2 not walking away with the round. We have 2 rockets coming into this round. The showstopper for Fatino and Nukia, both online. And I could see this being a point man for Fatino. Yep, there you go. He's going to be just rushing in towards Nukia, who pops his own one and tries to one-up. Both getting tagged up a little bit, but it is definitely Nukia that ends up on the downside of that engagement. In fact, I noticed Fatino didn't even get hit. He was way ahead of it on the blast back out.
Yeah, the thing is, though, we've actually, again, we've seen double ultimates utilized here from Giants, and they've gained nothing. Like, they've thrown in a showstopper, and they actually used a Hunter's Fury in the mix of all of that. And it hasn't really helped them out at all.
Well, for their trouble, they've ended up losing Hoodie, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not great. That shock dart again coming through. Great angle caught by our observers here. You can see it bouncing off the arch and landing right on Ambi for some big damage. Vodafone Giants are just being chipped away at. They've lost a player, they've lost HP, and for their trouble, Tom, they've lost all of the map control too. So it's quite tough, actually.
Yeah, they've only been going B thus far. Like it's been B site execution after B site execution, so there haven't really been too many early rotations. Although I say that, Coldamenta actually starts running in the wrong direction. Now, they've still got 2 players here, and more importantly, they fully think this is an A take, because Nuki's gone pushing all the way around. So this almost has to be a retake on this side of the map. Avova's just trying to hold on to elbow. If he goes down here, it really isn't worth it, but luckily for them, he's going to fight, and he's going to win at least 1 duel. Now the remaining player's going to come back in through Hookah, and they don't know how far forward the other couple are. David P caught completely out of position, and now they can even heal up onto Nuki. It won't help him out as the bullet takes his head clean off, but the diffuser's already started. They're just sticking this all the way. The plant is in a horrible position, and it's all too easy for G2. Even after making the wrong call and giving up the site, the retake is flawless.
The amount of diffuses just being stuck today is ridiculous, and the success rate on it as well. I guess pros, some of them do fake, but maybe not for much longer with the way things are going. At 6-3, G2 pick up another, and their streak of 5 rounds sees a return with a 6th. And I think at this point as well, they have Seekers to play with, and they're just about to get Hunter's Fury online, Cosmic Divide as well. They're in a really solid spot. I mean, Vodafone Giants playing it slow. Oh, here we go. The wall's going to be broken up. I don't really see slow play as an option here if they try to sell fakes like they have before. G2 don't see slow play as an option either. Look where Nuki is. He's going all the way down middle, looking for David P, hunting him down. And he's got him as well.
It seemed like David P was even waiting for that push, but it doesn't matter. Oh, the timing could have been perfect for Kellogg's. Just a split second too late to actually catch that kill, but they won't mind. They've already got themselves the advantage. A change of pace as well, because Giants have been playing so slow, but G2, up until this point, haven't really needed to get aggressive. They've got Astra to slow down a lot of the plays. They've got Sage, and then a huge amount of information available to them off Sova and Sky. And then you got this guy, who just peeks out and wrecks their whole team. 3 kills already for Nuki. He's been given the call that there's a player back on the other side. I think he wants to try and get himself the ace, but he has to be a little bit more careful. These shock darts from Coldamenta must be so annoying. They always seem to be on point.
Yeah, they do not miss their mark, that's for sure. Hoodie and Ambi left alive. Make that just Ambi. He was rotating around to help his buddy. Well, they went B every single time pretty much, and now the A attempt has not quite worked out. In fact, G2 pushing A worked out more. They've pushed it twice this round.
10 seconds
Went
left.
down at the start with Nukia, and now we've got Kellogg's clearing out the rest alongside Coldamenta. They're about to go all the way through and find Ambi. The first kill's his, and the second, and he's still going. He's looking for this extra on the MitchMan, and he lands that too. Great exits for Ambi, farming up his ultimate and making sure that at least it's going to be a costly round for G2. They're going to have to reinvest, but with only 2 rounds remaining, I'm not sure that that's really going to have any impact other than just him possibly having his Hunter's Fury enabled.
Has anybody thought about playing that guy on a duelist? That'd be a really good call.
It could be interesting. I wonder if he's ever thought about it.
Yeah, maybe on a previous team, something like that. Who knows? But yeah, Ambi, ridiculous individual skill. I do love when they sort of set him free a little bit. I think it's on Split, where he's allowed, or at least the map, to have his duelist back. But yeah, it's looking rough because at the moment they are just getting schooled. As said, in the majority of rounds, G2 are just happy to sit back, delay for as long as possible, and the executions from Giants, I'll be honest, just haven't really been good enough.
No way, he's just shock darted him. Look where Ambi was, and he shock darted him from spawn, bouncing it down. That's sick. And it landed on him. That headbutt him. Oh my god. Which also, aside from the damage, worth pointing out, that cancelled his drone.
Yeah, basically made it worthless. So even the small investment that they have into this round is not really going to garner them very much. And again, we're getting into that sort of latter half of this round, and there is nothing. Like, they have no map control. They haven't taken hookah. They're only just taking long. And the fact is, long is not being battled for whatsoever. It's just a completely passive hold. If they do go pushing into this site, they've got to try and get past the utility of Astra, which is going to pull them in. That flash was good, though. It's pulled them off the spot. They've not actually checked for hookah, and Kellogg's is just able to destroy them.
One enemy remaining.
Well, that's the res back online right away for the final round.
Okay,
Meadow getting a couple of little headies in there. It's a 1 versus 3. 10 seconds, though. That's the ultimate constraint. And the bullet to the head closes it out. So let's take inventory as we come into the final round of the half. We've got a res online for G2. Cosmic Divide as well. Over on the Vodafone Giant side, though, they do have lockdown. Last time we saw that successfully get them a site. And that was it. They got them a site. And then they lost the round immediately.
I think that's the thing that's been most disappointing so far for Giants, is that they've had these, as I said, really high impact ultimates, and none of them have achieved anything. The Hunter's Fury, used to try and open up, like they were expecting more aggressive positions, didn't do anything. Lockdown got them a plant, but they lost the retake. The same with pretty much everything that's going through for them at the moment. And Yuki, I think he's just realized, I can just get aggressive now. I can just take risks. That is my role for this map, and it's a role that, well, I'd find a player better at it, to be honest.
Orb control found, so they also have Hunter's Fury to work with. That was over on B long, and Nukia one away from ulti, coming up behind. He's flanking them out. That's Showstopper online. Double blast packs. He's not going to get it off, but David P is down at 17 HP, so a worthwhile trade, realistically.
Yeah, and again, just the Battle of Nuki has left them wounded, scarred, and they've still got to try and fight the other 4 members of G2 before anything gets done. That's a nice little bait almost to try and get him a little bit off kilter as he pushes. Peek back in, though. Kellogg's just isn't missing. He's doing a fantastic job as well, and they are smashing Giants. That was a stellar defensive half from G2.
You know what, man? I saw before we started the game, Carlos tweeted out, "Time to choke, come watch." That was before we started the first map. Maybe Carlos shouldn't tweet before the games. That's another call.
Is it just everyone? If anyone who is anything to do with the team,
if you're related to the team, maybe don't say you're gonna choke. Because maybe you will. but this time it's all good. Things are looking very good. I mean, the defense has certainly been spectacular. Now they push a little bit further. They're on the attacking side. And for G2, winning the pistol here, I mean, come on. I want to say it's going to guarantee them the game. The map, that is. But based on what we saw earlier, based on what we saw in the last series especially, with Gambit Liquid, I want to withhold any sort of predictions on the future.
Oh, here we go. Interestingly, it actually is still looking like it's going to be Kellogg's taking the first fight, which, considering he's the one with the Sage Wall, it might be a little bit surprising. Oh, they've got the callback. Oh, the timing could have been nice there for Ambi, but he's actually going to get spotted out by the drone. Hoodie's been forced out of position as well. Kellogg's, after utilizing his wall, will fall, but the trades are back thick and fast once again. An easy afterplant already, Mitch.
Yep, it should be. It should be.
They can walk past
After
the wall.
plans-
It doesn't even cover off the angle.
You're hearing players close. Nukia ready, but not finding it. Flashes deep, but no follow-up.
Player standing.
There we go, though. As they push on out of the choke point, just mowed down, leaving Meadow to do it. A lot of these guys are low, but now Meadow joins the club. And Mixwell to finish him off. 10-3, double digits for G2. And probably an eco out of Giants. This map is looking like it might be over pretty soon.
Are we about to just mirror the last series? Is that what's happening? Like the middle map is just going to be an absolute stomp. Like
Ryan warned us of this. He said that we've already seen a series where both teams, you know, win their opponent's map pick. Evidently,
Screw
that's
you,
what
Ryan.
we're going for. Yeah. Thanks a lot,
Ryan.
Mr. Poop Talker.
Yeah. If people didn't watch the desk, they're gonna think you're very weird.
Yeah, Ryan likes to be referred to like that. Just so you guys know for the future.
That is his nickname, other than birthday boy.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, we didn't wish him a happy birthday. We'll get that later. Spray downs. Kellogg's good for the first. Couple of players low, right down below, and they are dealing with them so easily. Jump shot just came out of Mixwell. Tried it again. Didn't quite work the second time, but hey, look, they're solid. They've got everything under control. You'd imagine just don't want to lose any more players at this point if you're G2.
Break their way through. Any extra damage would be nice, but in fact, it's actually going to be Kellogg's cleaning up the final kills. He's had a really good map. Like, I've been impressed. That said, I feel like it's one of those agents that duelists just still seem to thrive on. But it's been enjoyable to see him actually be able to delay teams quite a bit. Like, wall positioning is... Okay, there was one that was a little bit off, but it didn't really matter too much. And he's still taking a lot of the early fights. So, still just using it to almost try and just earn that res as quickly as possible. Nuki as well. Like, I will never not enjoy watching him on Raze. Like, it's never going to happen. No matter how long he is playing Valorant, I'm always going to enjoy watching him on that agent.
A technical timeout pulled in here.
Damn it, Hypoc.
It's
He's
always
left
Hypoc,
his
isn't it?
mark now, hasn't he? That's what this is. Like,
He's infected us, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't here. He didn't infect me. Like...
No.
You've caught something from Hypoc, and now we're getting tech issues because this never used to happen. But before,
He's done this to many people
replace me
in
for
the
a
past.
day. This is what happens, Mitch. It's on you.
This is your revenge. Yeah, I can hear you're happy. Yeah, you'll never get him again, will you?
I've been unplugging stuff.
Then again, Tom, I mean, we had the longest game in VCT history, so I'm gonna put that one on you. Maybe it's both of you. Maybe I'm just cursed by being with both of you, so that either way we're tech issues or whatever. No, look, it's 11-3, and it's a shame because, you know, when there's a tech issue, it's normally where we talk about the situation that's going on in the game, all that sort of stuff. But it's 11-3, Tom. I mean, like, at this point, it's gonna need nothing short of a miracle for Vodafone Giants to actually get back into it.
Yeah, and thankfully, production have heard our call. They have fixed things as quickly as humanly possible, and now we get to go right back into the game without having to talk about potentially what Giants could do to bring this back. I think they're going to need a few players to come online because, well, I did actually see, I saw Lauren tweet that she was really excited to see Fatinho on this map, and now, well, you know, he's not had the best of games, so maybe it was Lauren all along.
Oh, it could be. It could be. Nukia sending it onto David P. This is, again, a full buy for Vodafone Giants. And so there is a rifle on the floor to be... hello? There's actually two parts of this site. You might not know this. There's the main part, which where you plant, like here normally, where the attackers are. And then there's the part where the defenders are at. Mixwell forgot about that bit, but it looks like he finally found it. Going back in for a 3K. And, well... yeah, on paper, G2 probably get, what, 2 kills, 3 kills, and that's a good round. Instead, they completely roll over Vodafone Giants, taking the site and doing it easily. They made that look like Vodafone Giants were eco.
So Ascent is a map that actually G2
it is
have
a
had
map,
some pretty decent results on. Didn't do too well against, like, I feel like I might as well just start doing the analyst desk. We'll give them a head start. So, yeah. And then if you go over and have a look... oh, a close 15-13 victory over Guild. Some really close games coming out for Giants on that map. So Oh, I think that's going to be a close one. Over to you, Ryan. Oh, wait, that's me. Anyway,
That's you,
carrying
yeah.
on. We're going to have them now try and take some hookah control. There's a judge there. Be careful, Mixwell.
They're being cautious for a moment, waiting for the repeat to come out for these players to get a little bit itchy. Go out for a swing. There's actually 3 inside of hookah and 1 on the B site. G2 have decided at 12-3. 12-3, Tom. After they smashed Vodafone Giants on their full buy, they faked it. And they have hard faked it. There are so many players here for, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? There's a solo player out in the B site killing everyone. Kellogg's is just destroying a Vova in with another. This is, if you screen grab this, it looks just a mini map. It'll be a death match, only for the spike is there. And now it's just Hoodie and Fatino to try and close this out.
Fighting Kellogg's. He's still winning. What?
It's planted on the other side of the site. Kellogg's literally lurked, but he didn't really. He just walked out long and killed everyone. 13-3.
Win.
Well, we could have just not come back in after the technical pause. This has been a lightning round of Valorant speed running bind. G2 have taken it, and now we'll go all the way to map 3 of Ascent Top. Well, I have to say, I expected this to be a map that G2 could compete on, but I thought it would be over by now, considering Vodafone Giants, they did the hard work. They won the map that traditionally, in the last 2 games we've seen them especially, they sucked. And now they come into a map where they should be comfortable. They kind of sucked.
Yeah. Like, production has been absolutely fantastic. All the tech stuff that is there any world where you guys got the veto backwards? Because, like, this to me doesn't make any sense.
And the team names and all the cams and the player names.
Maybe that's it. Maybe the cams were actually correct at the beginning, and all of the names and everything else was wrong. There you go.
Players might have logged in on the wrong accounts. G2 logged into the Vodafone Giants account. Now everything is adding up. All right. Well, look, while we figure out all this technical stuff in the background, we're going to throw things over to a break. We'll be back in a little bit with the analyst desk and with map 3. So don't go anywhere.